All right, everybody that's listening in on the podcast platform, we are actually live here on air. Welcome to Leadership TKO. And what we're currently doing tonight, we just have something special that we have going on tonight. And if you're new to this podcast platform and the brand itself, we definitely encourage you to visit the website to learn more. It is www.leadershiptko.com to learn more about this brand. And I can tell you that under the brand, we do have several subdivisions, one of which is Leadership TKO for Women. And with Leadership TKO for Women, we have a global women's leadership campaign, which also allows us to be able to interview women. Yeah, we actually have women that we're going to be interviewing from now, probably until the end of 2017. And so we have someone live on the platform that I am going to be bringing in, of course, and introducing so that you can hear our dialogue. We have an interview tonight, so it's a little bit different, but definitely feel free to invite your BFF, your business colleagues, and everyone else to listen in, whether now or, of course, on demand. They can come back and listen to it. But right now, what I am going to be doing is we're on, of course, two different platforms. We're right here live on the Spreaker platform, but we're also on another platform where some people may be watching via video. So we're going to go ahead and get both of these started at the same time. Hopefully there's no feedback with the technology here. All right, so it looks like we have the recording going as well for video. So again, I'm just happy to be here with this global reality show that we have, a part of the Global Women's Leadership Campaign. And right now, many of you that may be watching this, I'm here on the platform with author Shinese Macklin Collins. And so what I'm going to do is just allow you to introduce yourself, because I know they can see you right here. So I'll allow you to be able to introduce yourself and just share a little bit about I guess where you're participating from, and what actually encouraged you to join this campaign. So, Shinese, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. And yes, I am Shinese Collins. I met Lakeisha virtually. Somehow we got connected via Facebook, and then I started following some of her podcasts. And when she launched this campaign, it was very intriguing. So we were able to meet in person. And it's just been a really great experience being exposed to so many different people who have multiple skill sets. There are a lot of powerful people who are women, and we can dominate if we unite together. So this campaign is amazing. It's definitely something that you should consider being a part of.
Awesome. So one of the things, of course, that many of you probably have seen, if you've been following along on Facebook, you noticed that one of the things we noted was that Shinese is an author, okay? And we definitely would love to learn more about that and your inspiration. What actually encouraged you to become an author? Some people use the term authoress, author, same thing, same difference. But what encouraged you to want to become an author?
It's non-traditional for me. A lot of people have actually set out to write a book. I had no intentions at all of writing a book. I was going through a difficult time. I lost 3 people in my immediate family in about 32 days.
Wow.
And one of those persons was my mom. And on the day of her funeral, before I returned back home to Virginia, I got a call that my paternal grandmother passed away. And then about 25 days or so after that, my uncle, who was raised pretty much close to me, he passed away. And that left me planning 2 funerals pretty much out of nowhere. And it was tough. I kept saying I have to keep it together because I'm responsible for making sure that the business affairs are handled, just looking after all the things that needed to be done because we have a small immediate family. So when I got back to what I considered normal life, I realized that I didn't feel like I was going through any of the emotions of grief. It was just like I was existing but not feeling anything. So I started going to grief counseling, and the counselor suggested that I journal. And I was journaling about the feelings, of course, of the immediate deaths, but then I started journaling about things from childhood and just various things that would pop in my head. And on days when it was just really a rough day and I couldn't even write, I would go back and read what I wrote. And it was just a reminder to me of no matter what I've gone through, no matter how devastating it was, God always got me through it. and I'm on the other side of whatever that thing is. So if it inspired me to the reminder of how I've been through, then I said it has to help somebody else who feels like this is only happening to me. I'll never get past this. So then it was like this voice that said, write a book. And I was leery because, it's personal stuff that I'm sharing. But then I really had to say, it's not about me. It's about helping that one person who now has hope again, because they realize, well, if he did it for her, he can do it for me. And then I just went on ahead and investigated and did the research on what do I do to publish. I was adamant about self-publishing because I didn't want someone to change my words, because they are truly my experiences.
Right.
So I self-published, and now here I am.
Wow. I mean, yeah, you went through a lot. That was a huge amount of inspiration. So to be able to birth that from those experiences, we definitely have to say, we tilt our hat off to you, because that really is a huge milestone, first of all, to accomplish during that season of your life, dealing with death of family members. And one thing to note that you did say was that you started off with journaling. Now, how powerful was that, to be able to take that, which, those feelings and those emotions and all those things that you were feeling, and actually share that with the world? I mean, what was going on in your mind when you were, contemplating that?
It was a struggle. It was like, the battle over here. Oh, it's too private. The battle over here, but help somebody. And eventually it came down to, writing this stuff down was a release for me.
Okay.
And the day that I got the confirmation in the mail that, my Library of Congress number was approved, and I had my ISBN for the book and received my proof copy, I said, this is real. I'm not playing. I actually did write this book. So I didn't invest all this time to now just not do anything with it. So I said, now it's out there. It's going full-fledged. So the day that I saw it on Amazon, when I Googled it, I was like, wow, it's really there. So one person, I said, even if I don't sell but one book, but I sell more than one. But even if I only sell one book and help one person, then I feel like I've achieved what I set out to do.
Wow. And because you had that, that outlook, I mean, I know that you're doing some amazing things here in the local area. Just share, after you produced and you published the book, what actually happened? The doors began to open for you?
They did. The funny part is I was working on starting a coaching business, and I had to step away from that a little to really focus on getting the book out there. And I was frustrated because my passion was, no, I want this coaching business to be, solid and launched. And the more I got to pull away from that, the more other doors were opening. So when you get called to speak at a women's event and they say, hey, we want you to bring your book, then it still gives you the arena to actually share the other things that you're doing. So the book opened the door to speaking and to still being able to share what I do from a coaching perspective. Wow.
That's powerful. And congratulations to the success with that. I mean, I know that you're doing some amazing things now. What is your plan with this book? What is it that you're really seeking to accomplish? Besides, of course, touching, even if it's just one more additional person's lives, because I know you've touched many. I've actually bought a couple of your books too. So what are you intending to do now? What is your next step?
I am really considering writing another book, even though that wasn't the area that I planned to spend my time in.
Right.
I've settled on a title, looking at an outline, but I still want to continue to just push this book in spiritual areas, but also in the corporate or entrepreneurial area, because I talk about various aspects. It's not just about grief in the book. I talk about when you're, displaced with transformation for jobs because of, reorganizations. I talk about loss of your husband, because I did lose my first husband at an early age. Okay. Just talking about health issues. So it's a variety of things I touch on, and it fits in many different areas of life.
Wow. You mentioned something really, really important too, because I'm quite sure that there are some women who are listening in and they're just sitting here trying to figure out, how does she manage to keep it all together? How did, to be able to lose those number of individuals in your life that were really close to you? What are some things that helped you through that grieving process? And I don't mean to, of course, bring this up so that you can rehash a lot of these things, but what what were some of the things that you were able to do, whether it be coping mechanisms, to really help you to get over that difficult time?
Well, like many children, I was drugged to church as a little girl, but I've been in church my whole life, and I have pretty much remained in that realm. So I'm spiritual. I'm really strong faith-based, and I had to draw from that the entire time. And I would find myself, even when I was really struggling through a moment, I think about at my mom's funeral, I was walking around asking people, were they okay? And I was like, that's strange. Shouldn't they be asking me, am I okay? But, I knew the impact that my mother had on people. So, I would look at them and you could just tell that they were hurting, and that concerned me. So taking the focus off of me and putting it on someone else to let them know, yeah, we're going through this together. I miss her too. And also just being able to, sometimes you're just sitting there and you open the Bible and that passage just really speaks to what you're going through at the time. And it never hurts to have a good, strong friend network, because on some of my dark days, I would get the random text from a friend saying, hey, I'm feeling you today. I'm thinking of you. And that would mean the world to me, because I said, people do care. Yes. And that's the one thing that we all need to be reminded of. Sometimes people feel like they're not loved, nobody cares about me, and you'd be surprised that, the one hug that you give, or the one call or text, the one card you send in the mail that you thought was nothing, could be the major difference in someone's life.
Wow. That is huge, because you mentioned something pivotal that I think a lot of women miss out on, and that is having that support system. Having someone that will be able to say, hey, just to drop a nugget, even just call you, or even just come by your house and just sit there. They don't even really need to say anything, but just someone there. How can women who are struggling, even in that area of building a support system, how can they go about beginning to form that for themselves?
It comes down to, we have to learn how to ask for help. It's not the thing that we as women like to do, but you really do. There is someone who knows of a struggle similar to yours. None of our struggles are exactly the same, but you can find someone who can relate. It can be someone who is a counselor, but it can also just be someone that you know and you trust, and you just want to get it out. And you have to seek out somebody to let it out, because the more you keep the stuff bubbled up inside, then it makes you physically unhealthy and emotionally unhealthy. And you just don't want to be sitting at your job one day and you just blow up because now it's coming out because you never released it.
That's powerful. And so true. So true. And I think if women understood the power of the release, when they, just releasing in a positive way, it works. It definitely works. Even if that means, it might sound weird, but even if that means getting a pillow and just screaming into the pillow, I mean, just releasing, having that moment of release, even when it's just you by yourself, getting that pillow and just screaming into it. Or some people use physical activity, whether it be boxing or whatever it may be, that would allow you to release, or going out for a run. Exercise really does work. Although you're probably going to feel like someone probably tackled you a couple of times after you worked out and you didn't work out in a while, but it works. It definitely does. And then I agree with you wholeheartedly that the support system and doing something to release is going to help you to just become a better you and become healthy. So, yeah, most definitely. And even with this book that you have and the coaching that you're trying to do you have a specific audience that you're trying to reach, or it really doesn't matter who you reach through your book?
My focal point, I do target women. That is the preferred clientele. However, I'm not averse to working with men, but I have more experience in working with females, and especially in the corporate space, or those who are entrepreneurs, and especially like network marketers. You have to present a product. And if you're not comfortable presenting, then that's the area that I'm coaching you in, to find your voice and find your courage to be able to present your product in a manner that you're comfortable, but you're relatable, you're trusted by your clientele, and you just deliver that powerhouse presentation where after it's done, either they want to buy that product, or they want to know more, or they want to get to know you more. So it's all about making sure that you can communicate with dominance.
Got it. Because the name of your company is what?
Powerful and polished presenters.
Got it. Got it. And so, that's really pivotal, especially for corporate individuals and entrepreneurs. How do you feel, and how do you, what is the bridge between your business and entrepreneurs? Can entrepreneurs also benefit from the services that you offer?
Absolutely. And I know this firsthand because I am also a jewelry consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned, in my corporate job, I'm in the telecommunications industry.
Mm-hmm.
Very different from talking to somebody about accessories, just not the same thing. And the shift was a little weird for me because I'm used to telling you about something that you need as technology or something of that nature, but to tell you, well, you need to buy that necklace, that was a whole different area.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, of course, wearing or showing the product, if you're not comfortable having a conversation, then nobody's going to be willing to approach you. You have to approach people. Yeah. And you have to be able to even just exude confidence in a way that says, hey, I'm here. You want to chat?
Right.
Grocery store. It's just those random conversations. So that alone taught me you have to use your voice more than ever. And you have to learn how to approach people in a not pushy manner, and also be able to deliver your message where it doesn't feel like, oh, you attacked them. Why is she following me around the store? That way, but in a way that makes them want to be engaged in conversation with you.
Right. Yeah, and that's true, because even as entrepreneurs, you really have to be careful about your approach, because you don't want to feel as though that you're about to not attack, but for lack of words, you don't have a soft approach to really sharing your product or your service with your ideal client. So, even when it comes to leaders, what are some things that leaders can do to have a more, how should I say it, a better approach with working with people who are underneath them, or I should say are following them? What is a way in which they can become better leaders and lead those who are seeking to just be where they are, or just to grow and to move into where their lane and what they're trying to become? What are some leadership tips that you have?
One of the most important things, even if you are a leader and you seek to rise higher, or if you just want to get better at being a leader, you have to be able to follow as well as lead.
Yeah. So
you can't delegate a bunch of stuff to someone that you're not willing to do yourself. So you have to show that I'm in it with you.
Right.
The other thing is communication. Just as much as you talk, you need to listen. And you have to be able to do self-examination. Oftentimes, we're just not aware of how we show up in a room. There are times that your body language is not matching what's coming out of your mouth. And when you're sending mixed messages, then people don't know what is she really about? If you walk in the room and you're like, I'm happy to be here today. Well, no, I don't think you're happy to be here today based on how you said that and your body language. But if you walk in and you truly are like, I am happy to be here today. How y'all doing? It's a whole dynamic. So making sure that those things match and being mindful of, we all have bad days, and it's okay to say, give me a few minutes today. Just let me sit here on my own and get through some things, and then I'll come out and chat with you. Because when you're not approachable, then that also leaves a stigma with folks where, well, why would we want to promote her when we can't even talk to her?
Very good point, because you do have to be approachable. How do you think that, people can begin to change that, even if they need to work on a few things? What are some tips that they can begin to implement to become more approachable?
The first thing I always tell people is record yourself, or have someone record you. Because a lot of times you're not aware of the fact that when you're talking, you might be doing this the whole time. You're just not aware of a lot of the little things that you do.
Right.
So when you get that playback, it's a reality check of, I do need to, stop being so fidgety or looking everywhere but at the people that I'm having the conversation with. Also, I would say, when I talked about self-examination, self-awareness is big. So getting in touch with emotional intelligence and understanding your feelings and the feelings of those who you are coming in interaction with. Relationships at work are real. You either are working well with someone and you may have even developed a friendship, but you also just have a level of professionalism that you need to keep. And there may be those who are difficult to work with, so you have to be mindful of when you're coming in contact with that person. Don't somehow show that you just don't want to be bothered with them. You have to find a way to make it work for both of you.
Right.
Do what you need to do for the project. Mm-hmm. Always be cordial, but, be in tune with your emotions. We have emotions. We're emotional people, but learn how to control them and recognize when you need to adjust.
Now, I know, of course, as women, we play various roles in life. We have many hats that we wear. Now, when it comes to emotions, sometimes we can get a little out of control. Let's just be honest. What are some things that we as women can do to try to manage those emotions so that we can be as professional as possible in every setting?
Our facial expressions are a big one. I know I still struggle with my eyes. I sometimes have a whole conversation and don't open my mouth. But, that tends to be with my child, with them scowling at her because she knows that she's not supposed to be doing that thing.
Right.
But, just remembering, like I said, your body language is big. And you have to make sure that you're not delivering some other message with your body or your facial expressions that's not matching how you really feel. And then you don't understand why no one's talking to you or why they're talking about you because you don't realize what message you conveyed without even doing anything. You think you didn't do anything, but you did. Outside of body language, even your tone of voice. When you're disagreeing about something, that doesn't mean that you raise your voice and now all of a sudden, the language becomes bad. You can still be very professional, disagree, state your point, and keep your credibility. Always be respectful of yourself and others. So being mindful of your language, not saying profanity, but, you can use the wrong words. Even when you're trying to coach someone who's on your team, you don't want to say, well, you're always doing so-and-so and so. You would rather approach it with, I've noticed that sometimes you do X and, maybe we can work on you doing Y so that you can change that and come across a little more softer or something of that nature. But changing your word choice has a lot to do with your communication and how people view you.
Wow. Now, is there a such thing as not mixing business with your personal life? Because, of course, as a woman, that can be a little tough, especially for those moms who work from home. How can you create that? I don't want to say that barrier or that separation there, but how can you do this in a healthy manner so that you can still have some private time? Your family and your downtime can be your time, and then you have that business time. And, share that with stay-at-home moms and women who work from home.
Balance. We talk about that word a lot. Sometimes I don't know that it exists, but I will say that, you almost aren't beholden to a schedule. And anyone, to me, who says that they're able to totally separate their personal from their professional, I would love to know how they do that. Because if you come to my corporate office, I have pictures of my family because they mean the most to me.
Right.
So if I have to be away from you that long, I would like to be able to glance over every now and again and, smile like, that's why I'm here.
Right.
Or, it's okay to have just general conversation with folks about, I have a daughter or, I'm married or whatever your situation is, but you don't have to get into the whole rundown of, well, Friday we did this, Saturday we did that, Sunday we did that. Just keep it general so they understand that, all right, these are the things that are important to her because she talks about it, but you don't have to talk about it ad nauseum. So finding a way to work it in, but also that's a reminder to them sometimes, well, we may not ask her to do X because we know she needs to go and do this for her kids in the evening. And if you're an entrepreneur working from home, I work from home one day a week. And I always have to remind my daughter sometimes when she's coming in, look at the door, because I'll post a sign on the door so she'll know I'm on a conference call because, they just come in and start talking. And just letting her know, right now, Mommy cannot be disturbed. Just give me that time. And then, I'll kind of look at her side eye like, I'm going to let you know when I'm ready for you. So finding how you keep them out sometimes when you do really need to have that quiet moment to handle some business.
Right. Yeah, because we do have business to take care of, and I do understand this because with me having a 4-year-old, And a 1-year-old,
Yes.
they don't care whether I'm on a call, recording, or video conferences or anything. I'm
Yes.
surprised right now they're not knocking on the door while we're talking. But they just really don't care.
While we were sitting here, I could hear her outside the door. So
yeah. Yeah, she was just like, okay, well, I know mommy's in there, so I thought she was going to come and just kind of, look in the camera. She does that too at times. But, she'll have her moment. She tries to think she's my business partner. I tell that for people a lot, but she'll get there one day. She's an entrepreneur in training. But one of the things that I share with women is just try to make sure you include your family in what it is that you're doing, because they're part of the legacy.
Yes.
They're part of the empire that you're trying to build. And if you, in any type of way, show that you're excluding them, then it becomes a problem. And they're going to be right. Then they're going to resent your whole desire, right, to build the business. They're just going to they're not going to want anything to do with it. You're going to want to share something with them that's a successful milestone, and they're not going to want to listen to it at all. So it's important to try to include them with, what it is that you're doing. So even if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're an entrepreneur, and maybe you're just trying to put some things together, if there's a way that you can include your kids with it, if it's involving glue or anything, just try to get them involved in any type of small way. So even if that means, hey, grab this bag, put this bag over here, get them involved in some way. That just shows that, you want them involved, and that you're also just spending time with them. That's a way to spend extra time with them also. So, yeah. And of course, when you're
It's funny that you say that.
Go ahead.
Because my daughter actually, once my book came out and, it came in the mail, and she was like, I am so proud of you. And I'm looking at her like she's 10. What do you mean you're proud of me? And that really stuck with me. I was like, she's proud of me. So, okay, you don't realize the impact you're having on them when you are doing, your thing as an entrepreneur or what have you. So, she's the one who goes out and tells people, my mommy wrote a book. And it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. So got people in your corner.
Yep. And then of course you're being a great influence to your kids as well. And she's looking at you. You published a book. Now in her mind, she's saying, man, if mommy published a book, maybe I can publish a book too. That's probably a thought in her mind. If she didn't tell you yet, she's probably thinking about it. And you probably will hear something at some point saying, Mommy, I want to write too. So it's just something to think about. And even while we're talking about influence, I know that you probably have some things in mind. You don't have to disclose everything, but what do you have in mind for the next maybe 1 to 3 years when it comes to building other female leaders? What are you hoping to accomplish when it comes to building other leaders?
I definitely want to continue speaking to various women's groups because I do find that is very beneficial. After you finish speaking, and even while I'm trying to coordinate selling the books, but I'm still talking to the individuals who are there, and the dialogue. That point you made about X. Now I'm going to go apply for that job. Just listening to what you said. So those are the things that I draw on, and I know that it's making an impact. So it makes me want to continue to just help women remove those self-imposed boundaries. We put a lot of things in our own way. There are obstacles that we've invented. They're not true obstacles. And until you have a reality check or just a reminder from someone to say, well, why can't you do it?
Yes.
And why not you? Why not you go through this bad thing? Why not? Because there's something greater on the other side.
Right.
We're not exempt from adversity. So don't get stuck in that thing. And that's the thing that I just want to keep pushing. You're human. And the bottom line is, if Jesus suffered, why do we think we're not? So at the end of the day, we're not exempt. We're not going to suffer to that magnitude. But, get over that thing. Yes, feel what you feel, but get over it and move on to the next thing. Because there's always something better if you just keep going. Wow.
That's powerful. I wish I had my usher board 1, 2, and 3 here. Because I'm about to bust a quick little shot. I said, she is hitting on some important things right now. She just doesn't understand. But this is big because I mean, you're going to go through things. You know, we're all going to go through things in life. And the bigger the goal or the bigger the promise that you're looking for God to fulfill in your life, the bigger the trial that you're going to face. And I remember putting a post on Facebook about it. I said, a lot of people talk about wanting certain blessings and wanting to achieve different things. And I say, well, be careful, because along with those things that you're really asking for, there are some extra things that's attached to it that you really don't know about. That's going to help you to get to that destination. So just be cautious and aware of what you ask for. It's not that you're not going to get it, but that journey that it's going to take to get there. Oh my, oh my! I tell people all the time.
Before you make it there.
Yes. You know, and it may feel, and this is on a serious note. You know, it could feel that as though, you know, you're on the journey by yourself when you're really not. That's just a trick, a plot of the enemy to make it seem as though you're by yourself, and you're really not. And we're all going along this journey together. Of course, our journeys may be slightly different. But we're all trying to reach that goal. We're all trying to reach that higher calling. And so it's important for us to just keep that in mind and be sensitive, because you don't know where the other person may be in their journey.
Absolutely.
So if people, I know there may be some people saying, well, you know, I love what she's talking about. She's talking about helping people to become polished presenters and just helping me to overcome those obstacles in life as a female. You know, if they wanted to get a copy of your book, how would people be able to do that?
Okay, so there are two ways that you could obtain a copy of my book. Trust the Amazon. So if you Google Resilient on Purpose, it does pop up. And also via my website. And my website is ShaniceMCollins.com. And the book will come up on the site. It's under Shinese Writes. So you'll see a nice picture of the cover and a snippet of what the book is about.
Perfect. Awesome. And, you know, and I know that there are some people who would definitely benefit from the book. It's a great book, great read. And of course, for those of you who may be in the area, of course, I'm going to mention this, put a plug. If you're going to be in the area, okay, this coming weekend, we do have our convention. This is the Leadership TKO convention for women. And you can definitely grab your copy of the book when you come to this event. And we encourage you to learn more. And we actually invite you to go to the website so that you can grab your ticket and we can meet you there. It's leadershiptkoconvention.com. And when you do go to the website, be sure to enter in the discount code of Mother's Day. And it's all lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophes. Just enter the code and you'll have a $125 gift on behalf of the company. And so we'll just be more than grateful, of course, to see you there. And I know Shanice will also love to meet you there at this event also. So Shanice, is there any last moment words of encouragement that you would like to share for those who are listening or watching?
I would say at the end of the day, life is tough. But we don't have to make it tougher by getting in our own way. So again, go through whatever it is you're going through. Keep moving forward, because your past is your past. You can't change what has already happened, but you can build a positive present and future. So focus on the things ahead, get over the things of the past, and always believe positive intent in any relationship that you encounter. Take somebody with you. Don't go by yourself. There's some other sister, brother, whoever, just lift them up, because we all need a hand. So if there's something that you can do, if it's as simple as driving somebody to the store, running an errand, making a phone call, sending a card, always make sure that you're thinking of the next person. Don't make it always just about you, because you will get much more joy out of life helping others as you help yourself.
That's powerful. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Shanice, for being here on the platform for the Global Reality Show, TKO Global Reality Show. We appreciate you. And, of course, we appreciate all the viewers, all the listeners, whether you're watching on the video conference platform or you're listening on the podcast. We appreciate you for being here. Remember, once again, we would love for you to be a part of what we have going on with the campaign You can be a part of this campaign. We have a global leadership campaign going on. It doesn't matter which country you're watching or listening from, because remember, this campaign is actually in various countries right now. There are so many women from various places connected. South Africa, there's women from Germany, there's women from the Netherlands and Greece. I mean, I can go through a couple of the countries, but we just would love for you to be a part of what we have going on. So all you need to do is simply go to borntolead2017.com just to learn more about the campaign and get on board. And definitely, we look forward to seeing you in Portsmouth, Virginia for the convention so that you can meet Shinese Collins, as well as all the other great women who's going to be in attendance. So thank you so much, Shinese. We thank you, and we're just wishing, God's richest blessings to be upon you and your business endeavor. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.